Hi again. Um, Today I'd like to talk about the building and construction of a show, and or design and construction, and specifically chapters 8, 9, and 16 of Catron's book. So first, I want to talk about chapter 8. It talks about the sound of the play. This was really interesting to think of it in this way, because honestly, I've done musical theater and taught musical theater for so long that I've done repetitive shows. So I've done Mary Poppins before. I've done Newsies. I've done them. And so to me, the music, I think I'm forgetting that it's part of the storytelling. And Catron brought that up, and I thought, oh yeah, what am I doing? And then it becomes daunting because shows like Mary Poppins, which is what I'm going to do next, the music's iconic, right? And people have certain expectations. So if the choreography for Step in Time doesn't look like there's chimney sweeps on top of the roofs and doing specific movement, and in my mind it's tap, or because that's what I've seen, right? So I don't copy it, but I use it. And it's really important to use that music as part of the storytelling, to build the characters more, to develop the relationships, and those kinds of things. It motivates the choreography, and drives it, but it has to be part of the story, right? Chapter 9, the visual aspects of the show. So I design everything. I do the set, I do the costumes, I do the props, the kids, obviously I teach them how to do them, but at the end of the day, it's my responsibility to make sure that show looks and sounds great. And there's so much that goes into it. It's ridiculous. And it has to look magical. It has to look like it wasn't hard, and that it's magic, right? Especially Mary Poppins. I know, sorry, I'm bringing it up again. Things fly, which I can't do in my theater. So I have to be very creative. Thank goodness for LED screens, because I'm using that in the back. But there's the animated kitchens where things fall apart, and I'm going to let the kids kind of figure that out and create it. I have an idea, but I'm not going to tell them yet. And chimneys. How do you make a whole bunch of chimneys and they look like a roof, right? So it's all very important. I do have a set builder, and he and I work closely together. I also have a choreographer, and she has to be part of that discussion on design too, because she has to know what we're going to do. She also has to have a say in it, because some of her choreography is already planned. And depending on how many kids are in the show, it's important to know if we have enough space, right? So we can only have 5 chimneys instead of 12, that kind of thing. Let's see. Chapter 16, designing the play. It's about, Catron reminded me that it's about mood, symbolism, and creating a world that feels alive. I liked those words, feels alive. It pushed me to think and ask more intentional questions. So how do color and texture support the theme of the show? Whether it's time period or color, whatever it is that's important, and the mood. I did Alice by Heart, and it's dark. It's in a subway in England during World War II. So that had to be a whole interesting look on its own, and it had to set the mood and the tone for the show. And this was an interesting question. Can the set evolve with the story? I guess it does, and I'm going to really think about that some more, because what a great thought is that over the time period of the show, it's going to change, right? Whether that's with lighting, maybe, because they become happier. Like at the end of Mary Poppins, they all become a little happier, right? There's joy. It can start one way and end another, which would be kind of cool. I don't know that I've ever done that. Maybe I have. I'm not sure. For designing construction, it's all very puzzling to me, because there's certain expectations for Mary Poppins, right? It was great with Alice by Heart because there weren't really, not that many people have seen it. It's just not that well known of a show, so you don't have that iconic movement or iconic set design or whatever it is. But Mary Poppins, with a tight budget that I have this year, I chose Mary Poppins so I could build my budget, because I'm going to sell tickets. But with starting with that tight budget, how do you create that look, right? So I'm begging other people in the community, but teaching the kids how to build the flats and hang the lights and paint. It's all really cool to watch them learn how to transform the space. And yes, I do talk to them a lot about budget because they need to know realism, right? It doesn't mean that it has to look like a Broadway set. It's not going to. And I have to say that all the time to them because sometimes they look disappointed. But don't look at Broadway then. Don't go reference it. Anyway, time. So whether it's the music or the dazzle of spectacle, there has to be careful thought in every design choice. That's what I learned.